Hello everyone, we're here with Mauro Fanelli, which is the man behind Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Actually, no. He's the director of Mixed Bag, and he is the man behind Forma.8 and Futuridium, which you all probably know, and if you don't, shame on you. And we are going to talk about Forma.8. First of all, Mauro, this is an important question. What the hell is a Forma.8?
Oh, what the hell is Forma.8 is a very, very good question. Forma.8 is an action-adventure game, 2D game. It's heavily inspired by Metroid and by the classic of a genre. So you are this little robotic probe stranding on an alien planet. You have a very difficult mission to accomplish, but basically when you begin the game, we don't tell you anything. So it's up to you to discover what you have to do, what's happening on the planet, and as is on all Metroidvania games, collect different power-ups to further progress in the world.
But actually, my question wasn't that. My question was like, what does Forma.8 means? Like, does the name have a meaning, or it's like totally random name? You picked up the dictionary?
Sorry, there is a lot of noise around, so it's difficult to hear the questions. So I've replied with random stuff. Maybe I will do it again later, okay? Actually, Forma.8 means, well, okay, it's like we wanted to have a name that was a very simple, in Latin, forma means a very basic thing. So I don't know how to explain it in English. It's like, okay, it means a very, I don't really know them. It's basically the beginning of something. So it's more like Forma is this probe, and there are other probes like him, and they are all called Forma with a name. So it's like a basic life form. That's the idea, actually. So it's not totally random. It was like, okay, we like the name, and just get a number because he's number 8 in his batch, and that's it.
Okay, so the game is going to come out on several platforms. We have PS4, PSVita, PC, WiiU. So what's the difference between the different console versions? Like what kind of resolution, frame rate, anti-aliasing you're using for each version? We want the nitty-gritty here.
Okay. Well, the game is actually quite simple graphically. There is a lot of stuff going on under the hood, so it's more like physics. It's very heavy on physics, but it's not complex by graphical standpoint. We have used some techniques, so the game is quite low on graphical resources. There is no big difference between the different versions. So actually the game we are working on is the same on all the platforms. We are some minor differences in resolution, not really frame rate. We are aiming for 60 FPS, very stable, and it's running on PS4, WiiU, PC, iOS, 60 frames per second, very, very stable. We have some minor dips on PSVita. We're working on them because we are targeting 60 frames per second, and we want to keep it at 60 also on PSVita, always. We don't want to drop to 30. And anti-aliasing, there are some minor differences. Actually, PS4 version is running 1080p at 4A MSAA. PS Vita version we are running full resolution 4X MSAA. We are 4 per also on Wii U, running on 720p on Wii U. Actually, that's the main difference. From a gameplay perspective, the game is actually the same on all platforms. We are using the different features of the various consoles to enhance the various versions. So on Wii U we are using the second screen to always display the map for the game, or you can just replicate what's going on the screen if you prefer. On PS4 we are using the touchpad to add an additional method of controls, like on the iPad version, so you can also use the touch. Same thing on Vita, you can use the touch screen, and that's it basically. We have the rumble on PS4 and cross-save on PS4, usual stuff.
So the game is very original, like it's very unique. How did the inspiration come from? Like, what inspired you to make this game? Because it's very different from your previous game. Like, your previous game was a space game, space combat, and it's very different from your next game, which is going to be for the VR. So, what inspired it?
Oh, actually, Forma.8 is the very first game we started working on. So we started working on it before coming out with the idea of Futuridium. But Futuridium was a smaller project, so we did it in the meantime while keeping on developing Forma.8. Actually, first version of Forma.8 we programmed was in 2K12, so it's almost 4 years in the making. Main inspiration was Another World, if you remember it. So me and Andrea, that's my partner in Mixed Bag, we were huge fans of Another World and of the visual styles and of everything Another World. So we wanted to do something that was similar from a graphical perspective, but at the same time very different as gameplay. So we decided to do, it was our first project, so as a first project, what do you want to do? A big, huge Metroidvania game, so actually one of the most difficult things to do, that was it. But we decided to do that because we love Metroidvania, Metroid and Castlevania and all the game like that. So actually, from a gameplay perspective, it's very inspired by Metroid. And from a visual standpoint, Another World, and also Pixel Junk shooter, that was one of our main inspiration.
Dylan Cuthbert would be proud of you, that's for sure.
Sorry?
Dylan Cuthbert would be proud of you.
We hope so.
But what I'm very curious about, you told me off the record before that you used a very interesting and unique tool to make the levels of the game. That normally you don't think about it when you think about game development. So how did you make the level of the game? What tool did you use and why?
Okay. Well, actually, that's a very funny story. We are using Unity as an engine, okay? But when we came out of the idea, one of the idea was, okay, we want to have the graphics to be very crisp and totally resolution independent, and also to occupy to have a very low memory footprint, because we wanted the game to run on a lot of different platforms with different memory constraints. So we are actually using Illustrator to design all the levels. That's it. We have almost no texture in the game. So basically, each level is designed in Illustrator totally from scratch. So everything is then drawn in different levels in Illustrator. Then we import the whole levels in Unity, and we have a tools that just transform the Illustrator file in the game level actually. So it's a very strange. I don't know how other teams using this technique. It's quite strange, but with this we can just have very, very different levels. So we don't reuse stuff between levels. We don't have the same texture. We are not tile based. So every single piece of level is designed by scratch and it's totally unique.
So yours is a quite small team. How many people are working on this game, and what's their role?
Okay. Well, actually, when we started the game, we were 2 people. We released Futuridium in 2 people. Now we are 4 in the team. So there is me, that I'm doing lots of different stuff, and the game design, the programming, and business side of stuff. I'm just like a big jolly doing a bit of everything. Then there is Andrea Marchi that is doing all the 3D stuff and is the lead artist on the team. And then there is Antonio, he's working on the 2D design of the levels. And we have Tobia, he's another programmer, and he's helping us with all the programming, the more difficult programming stuff, because I'm not a good programmer, he's a good programmer, so he is doing a lot of stuff. Actually, my business partner Andrea, he have done the major works on Forma.8, but he had a problem with his health, so he's still obviously he's on the project, a big part of a Mixed Bag, but actually he's not working on the game because he needs to recover. We hope very, very, very as soon as possible.
Forma.8 is a multi-platform game, but you have a pretty strong relationship with Sony. I've seen that you're always understand the button. So can you tell us about a little bit about your relationship with Sony?
Oh, well, our relationship with Sony actually started by total chance a couple of years ago. since we were mainly developing on iOS back then, and we just showed our game in a very, very little bar in London. And what happened was that Sony was around, a couple of guys from Sony were around, and they saw our games, both Futureidium and Forma.8, and they were just, okay, we really love them, and how can we help? Are you interested in porting them to PlayStation? And we were like, yes, please, immediately. That was like that, like cheerleaders, you know. So we started working on them, first on PSVita, we started there, and then we kept the relationship with them. We have a very, very good relationship with Sony. We love working with them. They supported us a lot from a development perspective and with the tools and everything. So we just love working with them.
Okay. Now we know that we are working on a PlayStation VR title. I know that you can tell much about that, of course. But when can we expect to see more about it?
Oh, we hope soon. We really don't have a date for an unveiling right now. We hope by the end of the year. We are still planning about it. The game is Futureidium VR. We've showed a version, very early version of Futureidium VR at E3 in the Sony booth, but it was more a mix between the old Futureidium and what we wanted to do with the next Futureidium. So what we are doing right now is we will port the good old Futureidium to PlayStation VR, but we are doing Futureidium VR that's a totally new game aimed for PlayStation VR with a lot of different mechanics that are more VR focused, that are a lot more complex graphics. I hope we will unveil and say something more about it by the end of the year, actually.
Without breaking any NDA, what do you think of PlayStation VR?
Okay, no, I don't think I'm breaking NDA about it. Oh, we were on board with the platform quite early, so we had a lot of time to work on it and experience lots of stuff. Actually, as a team, we are very interested in supporting all the new different technologies that are coming out. And VR will be very, very massive next year, we think. So we are very excited to work on VR, and especially on PlayStation VR. We really love the platform because from a design standpoint, in VR you can do a lot of very cool stuff that you can't actually do in a normal game. Maybe it's not something that you are, if you go online, stuff like that, right now it's not really well communicated, but when the games are finally coming out, there are lots of clever ideas. And we love the technology of PlayStation VR. The headset works extremely well, so we are very impressive about it. And working on PS4, we are quite used on working on it, so it was really natural for us to switch on VR. And we really love the hardware, so we think it's very, very cool.
So back to Forma.8. Do you have any idea when we can expect to play it?
Oh, that's a tough question. No, we've already told a lot of different release dates, and we've missed them all, actually, all of them, not one. For now, let's see, we have announced, I can't say anything. It's some more months of work, let's say it that way. Next time when we'll give a release date, it will be that. So when we have it, that's it. For now, it's still a bit up in the air, but it's not too far. Let's say it like that.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Giuseppe Neva with Mauro Fanelli signing out. Thank you very much for your time.